Hi, this is a review of aMAZEd in Space by Aquila. It was revised by Richard Hauser for publication in the Arcadian newsletter for the Bally Arcade. This came out in July 1979, and it was originally submitted to Bob Fabris, the publisher of the Arcadian, in a form that was slightly different than it was originally published, because the person who wrote the program, I don't know if Aquila is his first name, his last name, or her last name, I don't know. But I have the original submission letter, and it's quite brief, but it says, "This was my first try at writing a program on any computer, so if you see things to improve, please improve it for whatever reason. You could get rid of plenty of print stuff and also the changing star pattern at the end. I just put those in for effect." So what Bob did is he sent it off to Richard Hauser, who was a early contributor to the to the Arcadian newsletter, and Richard sent in he sent a revised version. Not only that, but he commented the program heavily and broke it into sections and made a flowchart for the program, and there's every single variable. He comments what that means, because you can have 26 variables in Bally BASIC, and this but they only can be one letter, and it's A through Z. So for instance, in this case, the variable J that's the last score, R is degree of difficulty, L is path size, and there's a whole bunch of other explanations. There's about 15 variables or so. So I've already loaded the program to Bally BASIC. It took about 2.5 minutes. If you're interested to see how a Bally BASIC program loads, which is quite different from the later Astrocade version, please see another version of, or please see another video where I load a 300 baud program. So since it's already loaded, I had to make up a title screen because there's no title screen. So I created this real quick, so it'd have something for the video for you to look at while I'm talking. So now I'm going to run the program, and it asks you a few questions about what you want. I've only tried this program a couple times, so I've gone ahead and I'm going to choose what I chose before. So level difficulty easy. You can choose your path size. I think I put 20 before. What this is going to end up doing is making a different maze. You get a different maze depending on, well, it's a random maze, so depending on what you use, you get a different maze each time. Here I'll put 2 and 2 here. I haven't really tried all the differences. Did I not put 2? Oh, I put 0. And I'm doing this in the dark, so it's difficult to see. Height can be okay. Whoops. Well, that's interesting. Let's make it 1 instead. I wasn't accepting 2 for some reason. Didn't do that before. Maybe it's because I halted the program and I'm doing it again. I don't know. So now it's generating random stars, which is kind of a neat little effect. And now it's going to generate a maze. And it must have been a really easy maze that I chose, because normally it takes about 90 seconds to generate. So this blinking object is my ship. And this is going to be a very, very easy maze to navigate through, because as you can see, there's not much going on here. My last one that I created randomly actually was pretty difficult, and it took me a whole bunch of tries to get through. Now, that's it for sound effects. You can't really tell what's going on, but there's inertia, kind of like in asteroids. And all I gotta do is get to the end here, which I did. So if I say yes, if I say same as last game, I wonder if I'll get a different maze. Let's see. Different parameters, or same parameters but different maze? Let's check it out. We'll learn how this program works together. There it goes, drawing the star pattern again. I was going to say it was going to be. It is a different maze. So I mean, not that this is much of a maze. It reminds me of a maze that you have for tape. Is it tapeworms, where they're just a T maze and they can go left or right and that's it. Maybe not tapeworms, but the worms that they do experiments with when they split them in two. And it turns out if they've learned the maze after they have another worm, like they remember what their parents learned, so they can navigate the maze without error. Alright, This time I'm going to change my parameters and make it a little more harder. So I'm going to change them. So this time I choose 1. Level of difficulty, I'm going to say medium. I'm going to say 5. Height, I'm going to say, we'll say 3. Width can be 2 to 14. We'll say it's 5. And we'll see what it draws now. I mean, it can't get too bad. Now this program is described, ooh, wow, it's going to take a long time to draw this maze. That's okay though. In the meantime, I will discuss what's going on with how this program, the description that came from the Arcadian. It says, aMAZEd in Space game included in this issue is a rocket-through-the-maze challenge with a number of levels of difficulty. One problem is that I've lost the name of the originator. I sent the material to Dick Hauser, who made a few modifications and prepared the descriptive material. Note how he has separated the listing into blocks that correspond with the flowchart. The program lines marked C are just for information and do not go into the machine. And when Richard Hauser, he wrote a handwritten note that's included in the Arcadian, and it says, maneuver spaceship through maze without crashing into walls. Direction is controlled by joystick 1. Path size, maze height, maze width, and degree of difficulty are selected by keyboard input. Score is based on these inputs and time taken to complete the maze. It takes quite a while to complete maze interior, so start small. Obviously we started small with the first one, which only took a countdown of 9. I don't know if that corresponded to the maze in seconds. I don't know if these are each seconds. They seem to be going kind of down faster than seconds. So I had noticed when I played this earlier that this, when it made a maze, it was quite a bit bigger than this. I took up about half the screen. I guess the input parameters decide on that. And that maze reminded me very much of a maze layout that you might see in the Astrocade game, The Incredible Wizard, which is the home port for the Bally Arcade of the arcade game The Wizard of War. Of course, there's no sound effects, but it's one of the best games for the system. If you haven't had a chance to play that, you should give it a go. You might like it. So we're almost done. This is going to take a while, and I'm not editing these. Sorry about that. I need to maybe get an editing program or purchase one, which I plan to do. And we'll see how long that takes. But it's been kind of interesting going through these. This program, by the way, is being covered because Paul and I discuss it on Astrocast number 6, which isn't out yet. It'll be released in the next week or two. But we already talked about this last night when we recorded, or actually yesterday afternoon for me. And so now we get to play. Oh my goodness, that is going to be impossible because the maze interior is as big as this is going to be impossible. But we will see what I can do. If I can't finish it in well, you want to see what happens when I crash? You're going to get to see that pretty soon. Oh, or maybe not. Maybe I'll be able to do it after all. Okay. Okay. This is there we go. There's my first crash of the day. One of many, I'm sure. So, getting down into... So, the game controls pretty well. The inertia feels right. Everything feels right about it. If I'd known how small this maze was going to be, I never would have created something so small because it's basically the width of my ship. If you can count a ship like that looks like that as a spaceship. Although I guess it could be a 2D version of a Borg ship, right? Who knows? The Borg ships are square or spheres, I guess, too. If you're a Star Trek fan, you know what I'm talking about. If not, well, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. You should watch a couple episodes of Star Trek. Make up for some lost time. It's been on for over 50 years, I guess. Let's see here. Well, if I can't do it pretty quick, I'm just going to halt the program because I've shown enough of it, I think. I think anyone else who is interested can download the program from ballyalley.com and give it a whirl. If you're interested in doing something like that. The only way to play this is on real hardware because the emulator does not support loading up tape programs, and this is a basic program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to halt the program. I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to set the foreground color. Let's see. So first I'll set the background color. I cannot see at all. I think this is going to be B. See? This is very hard to do in the dark. Run color 7. Ah, yeah, that's what I want. Foreground color. Now that the screen is turned white, it's actually illuminated the keypad so I can see a little better. The foreground color equals 0, which is black. So I think NT for note time is already set to 0, but I will do that just in case. NT equals 0. Oh, I don't want to run it, I want to list it. So you guys can all get a chance to see what the program looks like. So this is the program. I don't know if I'm always going to be listing programs, but for now I'm enjoying doing it. It gives you an idea of what a Bally BASIC Tiny, it's sometimes called Tiny BASIC, what the programs look like. In comparison to say Microsoft BASIC or other 8-bit versions of BASIC, Tiny BASIC is very limited. I've mentioned before that you only have access to 1.8K of RAM, and you are usually limited to using, you always are limited to using a foreground and background color, but you can split the screen into a left half and a right half, and each half of that screen can have a different foreground color and a different background color, which is handy. But it's, most of the time, and this is also true for machine language programs that are on cartridge. You can only display up to 4 colors on the screen at once without using machine language tricks. And you can split the screen, and then you can have 8 colors on the screen at once. And most programs do that, but they usually share about 2 colors for each side. So most machine language programs are limited to just about 6 colors, I guess. And most Astrocade games or Bally BASIC games are limited to 2 colors, or in rare cases, when people divide the boundaries, then you get 4 colors. Well, that's it, everybody. I will make another video sometime soon. For now, I guess I should just say bye-bye.